Well, hello again, everyone. This is John Johnson with Just a Thought. Chuck Swindoll relates a story of when Donald Barnhouse returned to preach at Princeton Theological Seminary, having graduated from there some 12 years earlier. One of his former professors, a Dr. Wilson, came to the chapel service to hear Barnhouse, his former student, preach. After the service, this illustrious professor of Hebrew came up to Barnhouse and said, "If you return to preach again, I will likely not come to hear you. You see, I only come once to hear my boys when they come back to preach, and that to see if they are big Godders or little Godders." Barnhouse asked him to explain. Dr. Wilson continued, "Well, some men have a little God. They are always in trouble with him. He can't do any miracles. He can't take care of the inspiration and transmission of the scriptures to us. He doesn't intervene on behalf of his people. They have a little God. I call them little Godders. Then there are those who have a great God. He speaks, and it is done. He commands, it stands fast. He knows how to show himself strong on behalf of his people, those that fear him. They are the big Godders. Their God is big and can do anything." By the way, Barnhouse was relieved to hear his professor endorse him as a big Godder. So, my friend, how big is your God? You know, we live in an era well, it seems that the culture wishes to whittle our God down to size, to be able to handle him. They want to make him conveniently sized and set apart from them, to make him predictable and somewhat absent. Unless, of course, there is a disaster of 9/11 proportion. Our culture seems determined to fit this transcendent, eternal God, the creator of all that is visible and invisible, into their very postmodern mindset. Well, Solomon said it well regarding the construction of the temple in Jerusalem, 2 Chronicles 2, 5, and 6. The temple, he said, I am going to build will be great because our God is greater than all other gods. But who, in fact, is able to build a temple for him that will hold him, since the heavens, even the highest heavens, cannot contain him? Who then am I to build a temple for him? My friend, make sure your God is not too small. Think of him, know him, address him as the incredible, great, and awesome, timeless, eternal one. The very kind of God that makes you a big Godder in a little Godder world. Stuart Hamblin wrote it well. How big is God? How big and wide his vast domain? To try to tell these lips can only start. He's big enough to rule this mighty universe, yet small enough to live within my heart. John Johnson here, and for Saturday, January 11th, 2025, that's Just a Thought.